So we're here at the Haas sheet metal facility, and if you didn't know that Haas did sheet metal, well, this is going to be something different for you to see. So I'm here with Joe Kribda. Joe manages this place, and Joe was the manager for a section of our machine shop years ago, and as we go, we'll kind of tell that story. But for starters, how much of the sheet metal that Haas uses is produced here?
30% of the sheet metal that Haas uses is produced in-house at what we call HSM, Haas Sheet Metal.
Okay, let's take a walk. So this machine's been here for a couple of years. I've seen this one before.
Yeah, this is a robotic press brake. It's been here for approximately probably 3.5 years. We do a lot of the pan parts on it, which is the bottom part of the machine. Normally it's a two-man job. Now the process is a no-man job. So load it up and walk off and let it run all night.
Okay, so same machine, it's an Armada here. What are we doing on this one?
Yeah, smaller Armada. We use that on a lot of the smaller parts. We got it running, it usually runs a lot of coolant parts, coolant tank parts, and a few other small odds and ends, and a lot of short run jobs. It's easy to set up, quick, nice machine.
And again, making a lot of parts with no people.
Yeah.
Right here.
So this is a Trumatic 6000. It's a Trump combination machine. So it'll punch and laser. It's got a fiber laser. The laser on this thing is runs about 700 feet per minute, so it's pretty fast. Typically 14 gauge is what we run through it. Some 10, some 12, but mainly 14 gauge.
Got it. Cool. So again, you guys have invested a lot in automation here.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, now behind you, what we talked about earlier are the pans. And these guys are just doing the deburring?
Yes, they're just deburring. Well, I shouldn't say just deburring, it's kind of a critical thing.
It is critical. Can you explain some of the design changes that you guys made on this?
Oh, wow.
I know there's a lot.
Yeah, it's kind of difficult without the actual old parts sitting here to show you what we really changed.
I remember what they look like, but yeah.
You know, we probably reduced it by 4 or 5 little pieces that were on here. So this is our Armada laser system. This was here when we bought the place.
This one I remember.
It's an original piece of equipment. It's got 2 lasers. It has a load station and an unload station. And it took us a little while to get it figured out and learn it, but we got it down pretty good, and it's a good machine for us.
So, well, when you say we got it figured out, I kind of want to talk about how you got started. We talked before we got on camera, and this was a vendor's building.
Yes,
we had a vendor in here making sheet metal for us.
Yes, it was a vendor that was making sheet metal for Haas. They went out of business. They were going to auction the place off. We ended up buying the whole thing. Everything was disconnected, nothing was turned on, and I got a call to say, hey, how'd you like to go learn sheet metal? Didn't know anything about sheet metal. I came from the machine shop, and I had one other guy. We showed up, and we didn't even know how to turn the thing on. So it took us a little while to learn it, but we learned how to get this going. We learned how to press brakes, and from there it just grew. We started out at 0, and now we're doing, approximately $30 million in sheet metal value a year. Not bad.
Grown a lot, and because we used to work together when I was in engineering and you were in the machine shop, so I know throwing you into this was a challenge.
Yeah.
All right, if you want to keep going.
So over here we've got a couple other Trump robots. Our 7000 cell, which does a lot smaller parts, is very quick, and then our 5000 cell over here with the robot that we do larger parts on. We do a lot of doors, a lot of VF doors for the verticals. Our factory, since we've opened up or took over VF door production, we've done about 60,000 doors.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I've never heard that number.
Yeah, and again, unmanned, which is a good thing. This here is called a panel bender, and this is one of the first machines we brought in. Nobody really ever knew what it was, but we kind of saw one day on the internet and thought, man, that would work good for us. And we kind of looked into it, and it did. And it works very well. This will bend flat panels, and it bends up. So it's limited on what it can do, but what it does do, it does fast, and it does good. That's a coolant tank there would be a 2-man job, and it'll take probably 3 minutes, and it'll finish it in under a minute. And then we just have a guy to load and unload. So we do all our coolant tanks here. We do all our electrical cabinet doors get formed on this thing, among other parts. So a lot of parts going through this.
How many, and do you produce all the coolant tanks that we use at Haas?
20 gallon, 55 gallon, 95 gallon is still done outside.
Okay.
And coolant tank wise, we've probably done 38,000 coolant tanks since we started that. Wow. A lot of coolant tanks. On this side, we have our manual press brakes. We still do a lot of manual work. There's some stuff that's just not conducive to a robot. It's just not going to fit in. The way the angles are, the way it's made. So we still have some stuff that's done manually. Another big time saver, something else that helped out a lot is, here's a VF door over here. We used to have to manually put PEM studs in every one of these holes so we can hold the window down. Well, one of our employees, we went to Fab Tech, and he saw this machine there, and it's a stud welder. So what used to take us minimum 5 minutes a door to put the studs in, now takes about a minute to weld them on. So he'll put it on the table, it's got an auto feeder, it'll pop all those on, pull it off.
So the PEM studs used to be a manual process.
Used to be a manual process.
You'd have to pick that thing up.
On a hardware machine. You'd have to pick it up, put the stud in, press it, pick it out, put the stud in, press it.
So now this whole area, last time I was here, this wasn't here.
This wasn't here
at all.
We added this on, about 25,000 extra square feet. We wanted to make room in the other side for more automation. Plenty of storage space. Sheet metal takes a lot of room. A lot of room. I mean, if you got these things moving around, you know, look how much space you got to have. So we've moved deburr, manual welding, and then pan welding to the end, and then our 4 robotic cells over here.
Okay, so this is where they weld the coolant.
Coolant tanks are there. This is
coolant tanks, and these are pans. And this is all done manually?
All done manually, 1 pan at a time.
Okay.
That's our next big project, is welding pans robotically.
Which it sounds easy, but...
It sounds easy, but this will be one of the more difficult robotic welding projects that we have.
Okay, so now we're heading into the powder coat area.
Yep, this is where we powder coat everything. So the powder coat line, this was here when we originally bought the place. We used to paint a myriad of colors. We reduced it down to 2. We paint dark and light gray, and that's it. No more red, green, and blue, and all yellow. The powder coat line itself is about 950 feet long. So it's got the 5-stage washer, uses iron phosphate to pre-treat the material, which allows the paint to stick to it. It goes through a dry-off oven, then it goes through one of 2 paint booths, depending on the color. One of the paint booths has a reclaim system, so we can reclaim the powder, not throw it away. We're setting up the other booth with reclaim now. It'll go into a cure oven where it cures. It takes about 25 minutes, comes out, and it's complete.
And you said you will only do a couple of colors. Explain what it's like when you change colors.
Yeah, changing colors, you have to clean out the entire booth, and it takes probably about 40 minutes to do that. So we tried to reduce that down so we have 2 booths, 2 colors.
And how long does it take a piece to get through?
2.5 hours from start to finish.
Okay.
So not the quickest process, but you know, that's what it takes.
But except for the loading and unloading,
yeah.
it's automated.
Yeah, you guys in the spray booth.
2 guys painting. So I know we went to the powder coat, but we were watching, Frank and I were watching this earlier. You're making the regen for...
Yes, and this is another Trump robot. This one's kind of in an oddball spot because the building wasn't completed over there yet, and this is where we could fit it in.
You had an opening, so that's where it is.
It's just a smaller robot than the other one. It's just got a shorter, actually a shorter press brake, shorter rail system along the bottom.
So, from powder coating, what kind of...
Powder coating, depending, it might have to go to assembly, where we assemble it. That's where we assemble all the doors and the coolant tanks. And if it's not an assembled part, like this back panel for a VF, it'll get wrapped up, and he'll put it on the big wrapper out there and then go on the truck and head over to Sturgis.
So that was going to be, you preempted my question. So you guys complete the doors
Yes.
so that when they go to Haas on the assembly line,
Yep.
they just hang them on the machine.
Hang them on the machine.
So this is the assembly area you talked about. So they put the rollers on the doors.
Yep, like the lathe door, they'll put the liners in, they'll put the rollers on, any of that needs to get done. They'll build all that right here. Coolant tanks are over here where they put the wheels.
And we're back where we started. That's Haas Sheet Metal. Pretty interesting place. A lot different than what we're used to at the factory, but as you can see, this is an essential part of Haas automation. And Joe, I want to thank you for taking us on the tour and showing us everything.
Thank you, anytime.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.